We're here at Mobile World Congress North America in Los Angeles. I'm here with Niklas from Ericsson. Thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So Ericsson has made a bunch of announcements at the show about 5G. You've clearly got some progress going on. How is Ericsson positioned with the major carriers in North America with respect to 5G deployments?
Well, I'm of course biased. I would say very well, but I think the press releases will tell you that story too. I mean, this week AT&T announced us as one of the 5G vendors. Of course, we had a big splash with T-Mobile, $3.5 billion. That's of course major news for us, a groundbreaking deal. And the others have announced earlier already. So we feel like we're off to a really good start in 5G with the North American carriers. They're also being fundamental for us, driving technology development, accelerating roadmaps for us. And together with the North American carriers, we have actually accelerated 3GPP standards as well.
What is the competitive sort of advantage that's been putting you out in these deployments and these announcements? It's getting you sort of in with all the major carriers. I
think we actually already 2 years ago we lost a little bit of our way. We lost a little bit of our leadership in radio. With our new CEO coming in, he doubled down on radio big time. So I think at a time when we were sort of in between and a lot of uncertainty, we doubled down on R&D. So I think we got an early start, got out of the block really fast, and then of course staying close to the North American customers, jointly accelerating standards, and I think special call out to AT&T for helping us with 3GPP there. Bringing that in by 12 months has made a lot of difference for us. And then having these all four really demanding customers and all going off in slightly different directions, different spectrum assets, different propositions to the market, has actually had us then run on multiple fronts in parallel in a very interesting way. So I think that has helped us bring out new technology really fast. And I mean, last year we had, I think it was 10 out of 12 firsts. And this year we've had a lot of good progress also with our partners Qualcomm and Intel. So I think we're up to a good cadence now. So the R&D teams are on their toes and working around the clock for our North American customers.
What's another sort of dynamic about the North American market? You mentioned one thing already, which is that all the carriers have different spectrum assets, different network configurations, so they're all just unique use cases in and of themselves. What else about the North American market makes it either particularly challenging or particularly interesting from your point of view?
Challenging, of course, the hyper-competitive nature of the market. Interesting, of course, the unlimited availability of venture capital, paired up with an innovator ecosystem that's second to none, which is also why I think we see this type of passion and conviction by our service provider customers to build a network, because we can all admit that we have ideas about some of the early use cases, and we know enhanced mobile broadband is going to be there, virtual reality, augmented reality, more video, you have fixed wireless being discussed by several, but the real opportunity I think is going to be in the industrial Internet of Things, massive and critical IoT, where the industrials are getting really interested. And I think that's what makes North America really interesting, that the networks are being built as we speak, and now we're going to activate the developer ecosystem to see what are we going to do this time around, because it's going to be different than 4G, for sure.
Do you see that as a major expansion of Ericsson's business in North America, this industrial Internet of Things?
I would hope so, but it's still a bit early days to see how much incremental business we can get out of it, but it's a new profit pool. And I mean, all industries have a digital wireless transformation agenda by now. A lot of value to be realized by the industrials. I mean, we've done some work with ADL, $170 billion by 2026 in potential value creation for industrials. So I would consider that addressable for our customers. And of course, if they are really successful going after that business, that should be good for us too.
How is Ericsson itself changing in North America? You know, as far as the structure of the company and all of that, as you know, you're being more, I guess, more agile, more nimble to not only handle the carrier challenges, but also look at these, these other advanced markets.
Yeah. So we announced it's about a month ago now that we're going to move more R&D closer to our customers. That's a response to exactly the phenomena you're describing. Very demanding, very agile ways of working, different use cases that we have to go after, different deployment scenarios. So we need to be closer to our customers, and that is going to be by customer really. So moving R&D here, moving new product introduction here is a good first step. Then of course also bringing manufacturing to the US is hopefully going to be a big deal, and how we can accelerate deployment and ramp up for new technologies in a big way. But then maybe even more interesting is the work we're doing now together with our customers and some of our partners, the industrials, on how do you build these new deployment, how do you build for these new use cases, because it will probably require a fair amount of innovation, not just on the technology, but also on the operating model and on the business model side. And I think that's a big opportunity, but also a challenge for us to figure out, because the traditional way of building and selling is probably not going to work for our customers in many of these use cases.
Okay. Well, I'll leave it there for now. Thank you. I know it's a busy show for you, and it's the demos are firing up again, but thanks so much for making the time for us. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Take care.
Thank you.